God. Look at this. This is not Photoshop, guys. Look at this, man. That shameless life. That motherfucking shameless life catching up to you real quick. He's fucking bursting at the seams. Just eating fast food every day. Oh, you know, obesity isn't real, by the way. That's like a liberal deep state woke thing. Yeah, you know, heart disease, that's liberal blow. That's woke. Oh, yeah. Look at this little dumpling, man. Oh, fuck. Salad, that's woke. You're woke, Letty. Salads are for woke cucks. Only cucks eat salad. My God. Look at those happy, just rosy, happy cheeks. God. You know what's the nightmare of Kyle Rittenhouse? I don't think he's going to go away. This motherfucker's going to run for office. We're never going to be rid of this motherfucker. We're going to be in the grave. Lenny, you and I are going to be in the grave. President Kyle Rittenhouse over here, presiding over the ashes of the American fucking empire. God. God damn it. They turned a murderer into a fucking hero. Right? They couldn't do it with Zimmerman. But they found their murder candidate, their pro-murder candidate with Rittenhouse. The right wing can't let this little guy go. The right wing can't let this little guy go. He exemplifies what they want, right? To exert power on the liberal and get away with it. Will Kyle go fight in Ukraine? And there are no American troops in Ukraine. There are American mercenaries, but there are no American troops in Ukraine. So this is hilarious. Mike Pence over here pretending like he's got a fucking chance in hell. Listen to this in Ohio, I believe. Iowa. So over here in Iowa, this is what they think of Mike Pence.
We need to get the out of our country and get the out of Iowa.
I'm going to put him down as a maybe.
Put him down as a maybe. Yep. So this guy's mad and a coward because he's screaming as he's leaving. That's pretty cowardly, actually. Big tough guy with a big old beard. He's really mad at Mike Pence for not destroying democracy and giving Trump the presidency. He's really, really mad that Mike Pence didn't do the quote unquote right thing by literally dismantling our democracy and installing Trump as a dictator. This guy has probably got an American flag on his motherfucking truck, running around talking about he's a patriot, agonizing at the idea that America is still a democracy. I'm telling you, folks, Kevin McCarthy is the final straw. Right? When Kevin McCarthy is out of the way and they install their MAGA leader, fossils, no offense, Lenny, but political fossils like Mike Pence, some relic from the old political school, the old GOP, they're gone. They're gone. I mean, look at the base. Look at the base. And once again, I don't mean to age shame. You know, but look at the base. What do we got here, man? Man, oh man, oh man. And this guy perfectly represents the young, brash, aggressive, MAGA right wing. This is the ignorance that is taking over the old GOP, which was already fascistic. This is Mike Pence represents the party of Newt Gingrich. Okay? And that's gone now. Now it's the party of Matt Gaetz. Now it's the party of Josh Hawley, of Vivek Ramaswamy, of Ted Cruz, of Donald Trump, of course, but it's bigger than Donald Trump. And they're ready, boy. That Project 2025, they're ready for full-blown authoritarian fascism. So I wanted to point out, it's funny. Moving on to our next story here. Before I get too ranty. Moving on to our next story. Well, Chem Goblin. Okay, yeah. Fair enough. Chem Goblin pointing out that the Americans that are fighting in Ukraine are working for Ukraine's foreign military arm, and they are getting paid and treated like regular soldiers. Yes. Yeah, because Ukraine has a foreign legion that you can join if you have experience. You can't just walk up like a punk ass. Like, you got to come in there with some actual military experience. They don't have time to train you from the ground up. So thank you for that correction, Chem Goblin, about the American mercenaries who are currently fighting in Ukraine. And yes, they are heroes. They're not mercenaries, technically. Sorry. The American, contractors. No, the American Foreign Legion, American members of the Ukrainian Foreign Legion. There we go. That's easy. I could do that. Just gotta talk fast, like Destiny. Then people will think I'm really smart, right? But no, it's funny because people make fun of Canada because it's basically 5. Found a guy, ex-parachute Rizabit guy tied up there. I don't know what you're talking about, John. Right, you're just in your own little world over there. But no, it's funny. People make fun of Canada because we're like 5 years behind the U.S. And it's so funny. So we just had this the first Republican debate. We streamed it live and commentated on it live. Was it live? Maybe no, it wasn't live actually. No, it was live. Man, shut the fuck up. Fuck with you. Pierre Poilievre over here talking about wokeism. Meanwhile, the Republicans of the United States, including the king of the term, Ron DeSantis, not using the word once. Like, it was woke was used once by Nikki Haley, I believe, who was also, it was either Chris Christie or Nikki Haley that said woke and Hunter Biden like once. And here's Pierre Poilievre just a couple days ago. This is the conservative in Canada. It's like now trying to be all sexy and cool. Shut the fuck up, you nerd. He went from spectacles and suits and a brash little troublemaker to a fighter pilot ready to kick your butt. Politics is insane. We're insane people. And you need an insane person to cover it. So here I am, folks. I'm crazy. Pierre Poilievre rails against quote-unquote authoritarian wokeism. Okay, bud. Okay. It's really not working on Canadians, this messaging. Because people see it as American news is fully part of the news cycle in Canada. They don't even do like separate segments like over to the U.S. news. No, it's just like it is actually part of the Canadian news cycle is events that happen in the United States. As if they're, and sometimes you're confused, like, wait a minute, oh, we're talking about Wisconsin. Because they'll be like, oh, there's a flood. And you're like, you weren't paying attention. Then you look back, you're like, oh, there's a flood somewhere in Canada. Oh, no, they're actually talking about, New Orleans or Wisconsin, someplace in America. Like, wow, wait a minute, we're doing U.S. news. So there's no real delineation. So when you see Canadian politicians emulating U.S. politicians, it's so apparent and like gross. It's gross. And Justin Trudeau does a good job of not emulating the messaging as much. He's a weenie neoliberal in their own special way, in their own Canadian way. But we are seeing on the conservative side a more apparent and obvious emulation of the MAGA style right. It's frightening, but it's also reassuring to see some rejection of it. The poll numbers are not very positive right now. There was a recent poll that showed that the conservatives are gaining with the millennial demographic and Gen X or Gen Z. I mean, the Gen Z demographic as well. But we're a long ways away from the election. We're at least 2 years away from Justin Trudeau's next election, and he's already starting and I'm not trying to suck his dick here, but he is actually starting to do real policies now. So we're starting to see some positive movements from the Justin Trudeau Liberals, but we'll have to see. They've been in power just long enough that apparently this is a pretty common thing in Canadian politics. Every 8 to 10 years, we kind of just get sick of the current regime, and then we let the other guys run it for a little bit. So hopefully that's not the case here, because there is, I mean, his actual policies are just straight up privatize everything. I'm backing NDP. But I'm incredibly disappointed with NDP, with the new Democratic Party, Democratic, whatever they're calling themselves. But Jagmeet Singh is not. This is a perfect opportunity for Jagmeet to actually come in and show a clear separation between the NDP and the Liberal Party. By backing progressive policies that people want, by saying we got to lower these grocery store prices right now, by doing and so Justin Trudeau just recently, like yesterday or the day before, just announced that he basically wagged his finger and said, if grocery store prices don't go down, we're gonna tax you, we're gonna do a windfall tax. I want the NDP to say we are doing a windfall tax. Right. Same thing with oil as well. And of course, Justin Trudeau, who is lockstep with the oil industry, as we saw with that very funny video, does not come out and criticize the oil companies' insane profiteering on top of the inflation. And that's a perfect opportunity for NDP, for Jagmeet Singh, to show a clear separation. Oh, we're doing windfall taxes against these profiteering oil companies. You betcha. Right? Something that Justin Trudeau would never say, but they're shit in the bed. Where the fuck is Jagmeet? He's letting this charlatan, this nerd Tom Cruise come in here and pretend and that he's going to help people with his corporate policies of privatization, hanging out with scumbags like Doug Ford. It's a goddamn nightmare over here in Canada, man. It's bad news. But I will say, like I said, Justin Trudeau's got at least 2 years, and he's already starting. They've seemingly saw that, okay, this is a problem we can't just change with messaging. We actually need to do something substantive. And he started the finger wagging, so maybe in a year we'll actually get real policy. So Justin Trudeau might be able to pull his ass out of this, but honestly, he needs to provide relief to regular people immediately. We need a bailout. Grocery store prices nuts, oil nuts, housing nuts, rent insane. We need a fucking break. And Justin Trudeau needs to be the face of that relief. And if he's not, then we're going to get this motherfucking guy coming here destroying our national healthcare system and all the other nice things that we've gotten, right? Privatizing everything that he possibly can. Anyway, there you go. That's my opinion on the situation with the Conservatives in Canada. Moving on to our next bit here. I wanted to point this out because let me just read the statement first and then I'll get into it. But this is Charlie Kirk. This is Mueller, she wrote, by the way, embarrassing. How embarrassing was the Mueller report, and how embarrassing was the liberal anticipation of the Mueller report. And here is this Twitter account celebrating that moment in time when we were worshiping fucking a Republican, hoping that he could provide us with enough evidence that we could arrest Donald Trump. That's what Rachel Maddow talks about. Except that didn't fucking happen. And it was a total fucking joke. Just like the January 6th commission was run by Republicans. That was another great neoliberal idea. I am a democratic socialist. I believe in the hybridization of capitalism and socialism. Whatever deficiency capitalism has can be remedied with a socialist solution, and vice versa. If there's a problem with a socialist solution, there actually might be a good private solution. But those are pretty goddamn rare. One example, though, of those rare examples would be subsidies on corn farming. Right? We're subsidizing corn, and we don't know what to do with it in the United States. Another good example is, of course, subsidizing oil companies. Yeah, that's right. A subsidization for one of the most profitable industries on the fucking planet. So that's a good example of where socialism does not belong. So I believe we need to hybridize capitalism and socialism. Call it whatever fucking ism you want. Democratic socialism seems to be the title du jour right now, but call it whatever the fuck you want. I believe when the project finally finishes, when socialism and capitalism have formed together, a new ism will be coined. A new ism for this perfect hybridization of capitalism and socialism. Yeah, McBride. Do I need to ban your ass? What are you, a fucking jackass? Do you want to play a game, McBride? No, there's a big difference between a liberal and a democratic socialist. And if you're incapable of articulating that and understanding that, then you need to shut your mouth. All right, fine. Yeah, no problem, buddy. You're not welcome here. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching for several hours, by the way. Enjoy your ban, you piece of shit. 52 messages down the fucking drain.
I don't fuck with you.
Hi, bitch. Think you're welcome here? You think I appreciate your patronage? Why? Because you hung out? Said a bunch of nonsense in my chat? Get the fuck out of here. You goddamn right I'm on the left. The left wants progress. The right wants fascism. It's a pretty easy conclusion for me, quite frankly. So speaking of fascism, yeah, Lenny, exactly. And sometimes that's necessary. I'm not saying end all subsidies for farming. I'm just saying end subsidies for crops that we don't need. So back over here to our boy Charlie Kirk, #1 fascist. I mean, honestly, does he not understand? I mean, okay, we're not going to get into it. Like he's just now realizing I'm a lefty. Wow, what a jackass. Okay, moving on. So here's Charlie Kirk basically saying, kind of like doing bargaining, as Mueller, she wrote, mentions, doing the bargaining stage at the end of the GOP. Okay, but for me, Charlie Kirk obviously doesn't believe these words. He doesn't believe this. And let me read what he said here. Here's a deal Republicans should offer Democrats. Like, that's how the justice system works. That's what I mean. He doesn't believe this. This is an ass poll, but it's something else. So listen to me. Here's the deal Republicans should offer Democrats. Call off all investigations of candidates running in 2024. That's not how the justice system works. Joe Biden can't just call off the investigation. I mean, I guess he could pardon. Technically, he could pardon these people and their families. Okay. No more Jack Smith. No more Hunter Biden DOJ babysitting. No more harassing Cornel West. Wow. Don't you love when fascists come out and pretend to care about the progressives because they see it as a way to drive a political wedge between the lefties? That's what they see. That's what they saw with Bernie, right? That's why we saw Trump, having sympathetic words for Bernie Sanders. But don't you love that? No more harassing Cornel West. Will this mean accepting some disappointment? Yes, but the country would benefit. Let 2024 be decided by the voters, not partisan actors at DOJ. So I don't think he believes this. I think what he's trying to do is create some kind of narrative with where it could be like, we had to resort to extreme measures because no matter what we try, we would bargain with them. We tried to, we tried everything to work with our opponents, and they refused to work with us. So we had to resort to extremism. It feels more like that because Charlie Kirk runs TPUSA, runs a successful show, he's he's not stupid is what I'm saying. He's a smart fascist. He's an organized and ambitious fascist. So there's no way that he thinks that the justice system works this way, that Joe Biden is a king and can just wave his magic wavy, veiny hands and make it all go away. I got to stop with the age jokes. I'm sorry, Lenny. That's not very nice. But there's a lot of it's hard not to make old age jokes when there's a gerontocracy in charge. But you know what? Out of respect for you and my other elderly viewers, I'm going to stop it. Anyway, so that's my feeling on Charlie Kirk, is that he knows this is bullshit, but this feels more like a kind of narrative that they want to kind of set of, well, we tried to be nice guys. You do this like every stream. I know. Well, takes time to change, Chem Goblin. So that's what it feels like to me. It feels like it's more of a staging for this kind of narrative of, well, we tried to do it the nice way. We tried to be nice guys. We tried to bargain with you. And now we're going to get violent. So over to Vivek Ramaswamy and this pathetic man who has hypnotized Lenny. It certainly has. So this over to our news story, by the way. But this pathetic man who has hypnotized the youth into thinking he's somehow relevant or interesting. Jake Paul, John Paul, one of the Paul brothers, and Vivek Ramaswamy, after transferring, what do you think, $100,000 for this? 50,000? No, probably 100,000. 200,000 at the very most. So fresh off of transferring $100,000 into Jizzy Paul's bank account, we have this abomination.
Go wacky, go positively bonkers, yeah? Go mad, bruv. Lose your marbles, yeah?
And my question to you, did Vivek Ramaswamy get his money's worth? Is Vivek Ramaswamy getting his money's worth with this? By the way, Vivek Ramaswamy proudly supports a policy that would raise the voting age to 25. Meaning this man who bought this man to make him, more positive, to give him a better image amongst the youth, supports removing the youth's ability to vote. So this man literally is trying to take away the right to vote for this man's demographic. And he has paid this man to lie to his demographic about him. Politicians don't connect with the younger generation with social media posts. Okay. I mean, the question is always eternally, how culpable are idiots like this for fascists like Vivek? Vivek knows the utility of this moron, bought him, and is using him to the fullest effect that he can. How culpable is this idiot for the minds that he is poisoning, right? So he's got his little Jake Paul tendrils, right, and a million little minds, right? And Vivek can feed his poison directly into their heads with Jake Paul's tendrils. How responsible is Jake Paul for that? The whole guilt by association thing. I can't help but see him do this and just like, okay, thanks for the money, bro. Bye. Okay, bro, bye. I don't know who you are. I don't follow politics, bro. I don't know what politics is, bro. Bye, bro. Thanks, bro. Thanks for the money, bro. I don't care. I whore myself out to literally anybody. My audience of 15-year-olds, of impressionable 15-year-olds is at your disposal guy with money. Pretty fucking pathetic. Some of these comments are really funny. For the sake of all parties involved, I hope this was paid for. Incredible, quote unquote, hot sauce in my bag energy from Vivek talking about the Hillary Clinton attempt to seem like a human being, saying that she struts around with a bottle of Tabasco in her bag. Yeah, right. Who is Jake Paul's target audience? Whoever pays him the most. And then this person here pointing out that doesn't Vivek want to raise the voting age? Vivek is cringe. And then there you go. Beto 2.0. I hope he fails. I hope he fails, but he's doing it better than Bloomberg. He's doing it better than Ross Perot. He's doing it better than many of the other rich oligarchs that I've seen, right? Trump, I guess you consider an outside oligarch who was successful, you know, using his wealth and celebrity and having no political background to get into power. It's very difficult to do. If Vivek keeps it up, though, he might find himself, because, like, especially with this Kevin McCarthy, Matt Gaetz power struggle, he might be able to take advantage of the current transition period, you know, especially if Trump dies anytime soon. If Trump dies, it's Vivek right now. It's not going to be Ron DeSantis. Welcome back, Swims with Whales. Swims with Whales, have you ever seen the Sega 32X game Colibri? I'd recommend you check it out. Spelled like that. Go ahead and check out the Sega 32X game Colibri. So here's this oligarch bragging about how he's taking advantage of one country's desperate economic state and how that makes him some kind of genius. You might like it.
I pay employees at my marketing agency $4 an hour, and they're extremely grateful to be working with me.
Wow. Wow, man. Cool. You're smart.
Let me explain why. For administrative level stuff at my business, like formatting spreadsheets, setting up email accounts, I hire a virtual assistant from Pakistan and pay them $4 an hour.
I can't wait to work for your company, bro. I whatever service you're providing, I'm sure it's top quality, bro.
Now, the average income every month in Pakistan.
And I'm not saying workers from Pakistan can't be competent, right? But CB writes copy, so he's a copywriter. So he needs people to do very basic, mundane things.
Pakistan is $280. With the $4 an hour they're getting from me, they get $160 a week or $640 a month, which is almost 3 times the average income over there. A really great living for them. They live very, very well.
Yeah.
Now, if they do really great work for me, I can raise their pay to $5, $6, even $7 an hour, which is 4, 5, 6 times the average monthly income of a typical person in Pakistan.
So here's the thing, is that if America doesn't have this in another country, they'll create this in another country. And we've seen this with Mexico, with their, was it work zones or like free work zones? Basically, little spaces designated where you're allowed to hyper exploit your employees. So, do we really want an economic system that depends on standards of living being incredibly low in some places and obscenely high in others? Is that the only way we can succeed, is by depressing and making sure that do you think this guy wants things to get better in Pakistan? Do you think he wants the president, the government, the US government to make Pakistan better? Or does he want to keep Pakistan a hellhole? No offense. I'm sure it's beautiful. But you know what I mean? Economically. Right? keep them economically depressed? You think he now has a business incentive to do that? So what happens when all the big companies, which they are doing this, by the way, what happens when all the big influential companies are using this brilliant fucking strategy from Mr. Bloomberg genius over here? Well, gee, now we have a major incentive to make sure that these places like Pakistan exist, or else I guess our entire economy is going to go up in flames. It's wildly unsustainable, and it actually acts as, like I said, a way to keep wages depressed.
They do really great work for me. They're really grateful to be working with me because of the money they make. They have a great income. I get a great employee, and it's a win-win. Before you leave a comment, yes, I have US-based employees. Yes, they make way more than $4 an hour. I'm just saying for this specific task, I pay a Pakistani assistant $4 an hour, and they are very appreciative of it.
So yeah, you're a real fucking hero, buddy. Every company, my company does this too, that I work for. Bunch of programmers from Pune, right? And yeah, no, they're extremely competent. They're great people. I work with them. I'm in IT. Great folks. They don't deserve to be paid less. My company pays me less. I didn't get a raise. Oh, because you're getting enough money for your in Canada, IT workers get paid nothing. So we're going to match that. Look at the stats for how much IT workers are fucked in Canada. I had no idea. No, right to work is right to be exploited. Right to work is right to be exploited. At-will employment is serfdom. Why would cost of living not be a reason to base? Because the cost of living is calculated off numbers that are inaccurate, that are fudged. The current cost of living statistic is wildly inaccurate. It needs to be a lot higher. There's no rent control in Canada. So anyway, moving on to our next story. A little update on Russell Brand. Oh, Lordy. Just a quick recap. It's so obvious that this guy saddled himself because it was out of the blue, right? Like, wait a minute, all of a sudden Russell Brand's a right winger. This pot smoking hippie hanging out at his fucking hookah lounge, doing podcasts about fucking socialism is all of a sudden a right winger. Wow, that's out of left field. It makes sense now. Because he knew he was going to get busted for sexual assault, and he knows the right defends sexual assaulters and rapists sometimes, but I don't know. Is there a politician that's a full-blown rapist? Matt Gaetz is pretty close with his underage, He's a full-blown statutory rapist, but I guess there isn't a right-winger that's just like full-blown rape somebody, still in charge. The bar is low, folks. Sexual assault's all over the place. Well, I guess we're all cool with that now. It's not accurate. The cost of living, it doesn't the cost of living bands in the same in the U.S. No, look, okay, yeah, no, there's differences there. But look, what I'm trying to say is that it creates an incentive to have places like Pakistan and make sure that they never get better. Like, what's the incentive to make a person in India's life better? If all these tech companies are paying pennies on the dollar for highly skilled Indian technicians, does America want to see the quality of life in India increase where they start asking for more? No. That's a big problem. We have a system that inherently incentivizes fucking people over. Zio Duke. Yeah, no, I'm just I'm trying to say, man, is that it creates this incentive to depress wages. It's a terrible system. It's a terrible system. I mean, it is good though that the people that are making a better living than their neighbors, that they're doing that their quality of life is better because they're earning US dollars or whatever, or just, the equivalent of $4 US a day. or whatever in Pakistan. I'm just saying, though, that it could be better. It could be better. It's not a perfect system. It's a system that wholly depends on exploitation. But if the skills in demand, that will fail. If the worker is able to retain his rights over his labor, yes, which is a struggle that is fought every single day. And it's one of the big incentives for working with these, second or third world countries, is that they don't have workers' rights. Their quality of life will be suppressed at a level. Well, this is all you get. And now there's a big multi-billion-dollar, trillion-dollar incentive to keep it that way. I love raspberry tea. I drank so much tea in my 20s, I gave myself kidney stones. So I don't drink as much tea anymore. All right, so back to Russell Brand. It's so obvious that this rightward shift that he's made is was because he knew he was going to get busted for this. He was like, okay, it's getting out. It's going to get out in a year or so. It's going to get out in a year. So he decided to saddle up. I mean, this is a cold, cynical, political decision. Oh yeah, kidney stones are horrific. But this is a cynical, I want to keep my career, I want to keep the money flowing, I want to keep my celebrity move. Okay, Zeoduke, I mean, I think we're in agreement here. You're just trying to be more specific and nuanced. I appreciate that. The goal should be everyone's quality of life should be increasing, right? No matter what country you're from. But I do understand that it can't just be, we can't just like pass a global law that says everyone gets paid the same. That's not going to work. I do understand that there's nuances. But anyway, back to Russell Brand. It's very obvious to me that this has been in preparation for this announcement, and it's paying off. He's got Elon Musk coming to his defense, Bill Maher coming to his defense, James O'Keefe, of course, one of the most horrible human beings on planet Earth, coming to his defense, along with fascist defender Ian Miles Chong, who's also a friend of the Telegraph. Telegraph recently putting forward a video that interviews, basically doing a "What is a Woman" video, and heavily interviewing Ian Miles Chong, calling him a friend of the network. The Telegraph out in the UK. This proud fascist really does tell you a lot about the Telegraph. So, Jordan Peterson, Simon Atiba, I don't know who that is. And apparently, according to the surfs here, Russell Brand rape accusations are really bad. They include grooming and raping a 16-year-old and tons of corroborated testimony, including women who went to rape crisis centers. There are hundreds of sources cited, and again, was apparently an industry secret everyone knew. Vosh saying, yeah, but have you considered the possibility that the deep state set up all this because he got too close to the truth or something? Yeah. Yep. That's what it is, guys. It's the deep state taking him down. Elon Musk, Andrew Tate, Tucker Carlson support Russell Brand. It's just a little rape. I mean, it sounds like this is way more than... It sounds like they think they're backing a Trump who was guilty of sexual assault but not rape. It sounds like homeboy's guilty of rape, dude. And none of these guys want that. Tucker Carlson, Elon Musk especially. Andrew Tate, I mean... Is there any low he wouldn't go to? So, I mean, yeah, sure. I could see Andrew Tate supporting a full-blown rapist, but Elon Musk and Tucker Carlson can't have that. Tucker Carlson still has advertisers that he has to please on his new shitty show on Elon Musk's fucking X. And Elon Musk can't be, even as deep of an asshole as Elon Musk is, he can't afford to be supporting an actual rapist. Zio Duke pointing out that he doesn't think there's been any charges. Russell Brand put out a video basically admitting that this stuff is happening. I'm not going to get into it because there are other channels that are following this far more closely. And the thing that they're not following is the fact that he preemptively did this pivot in a very cynical and political manner, because the right defends sexual assaulters, because the right will back up guys that take their liberties with women. Closest to proof, it seems, is a text message when he said, well, Zio Duke, the reason why I feel confident reporting on this before we've seen all the evidence is his response. It's pretty obvious that he's guilty, but you know what? Benefit of the doubt. Alleged sexual assaulter and rapist Russell Brand. Yeah, because he's not guilty in a court of law, but it sounds like it's pretty bad. Let's see here. The findings come from a joint investigation by the Sunday Times, so not law enforcement, but newspaper. The Times and Channel 4 dispatches, so just media companies. One woman alleges that Brand raped her against a wall in his LA home. She was treated at a rape crisis center on the same day. According to medical records, text messages show that in the hours after leaving his house, she told Brand that she had been scared by him, and felt taken advantage of, adding, when a girl says no, it means no. Brand replied saying he was very sorry. Yeah, exactly, Zio Duke. Yeah, no, there's definitely smoke to this fire. But yeah, let's, a lot of this stuff, because that's the problem with celebrity, is that there are people that are like, well, we had a hot one-night stand, and, I could pretend like he raped me and then I could get some money. That shit does happen, but it's one thing when you got one allegation from one person about one time 10 years ago. That's one thing. We got 5, probably more incoming. Shit hasn't even gotten to court yet, but it sounds like it's gonna. And Brand, honestly though, this is the right move for Brand. If you want to keep your celebrity, you want to keep your relevance, keep the money flowing, you got no choice. The left is going to Justin Roiland you. You're gone. I don't care what stage of your career is, how successful you are, you're gone. So you can't run to the left. Can't do an apology video and just hope that things will be better 6 months later. Not with sexual assault. But the right's got your back. So honestly, this was the right move for him if he wants to keep his career. Shagger of the year, 5 years. Shagger of the year, huh? That's a thing. This guy, huh? I bet he's a 2-pump chump, get the fuck out of my room kind of guy. You kidding me? All right, moving on to our next and final story about the fascists. Joe Rogan, who's just wildly ignorant. And honestly, he's just doing what the right wing, he's just like, okay, what's the right wing narrative on this? Okay. So here's Joe Rogan trying to, quote unquote, give Russia credit for banning GMOs and all that stuff. And we'll get into some of the actual reality in the comments section about what Russia is actually doing. But he's like, oh man, it's so cool. Russia's like authoritarianism is so great. They can ban GMOs and really help people. And, it sucks that, you're not allowed to like Russia right now. Like there isn't a good goddamn reason to be pissed off at Russia, Joe. Oh, that's just the wokerati. That's just the deep state narrative about Russia. The narrative that they invaded a country. A democratic country, committing massacres and fucking, firing $1 million cruise missiles into apartment buildings. Oh, you just sound you CIA boy. That's what he calls this ex-comedian from Mad TV. I can't remember his name. He's on Mad TV, but he's like, oh yeah, CIA boy, as if pointing out that the Russian government and Putin at the head of it is not to be trusted, is somehow a CIA narrative. Not a fucking narrative, Joe. Listen to this goddamn ignorance. This 1 minute. This is 1 minute of this garbage. It's unbearable.
He did not fuck around.
Unless Trump's
Singapore,
on your
same
side.
thing. Singapore, they
Well,
would
look what
hang
happened with
people.
Brittany Griner.
Yeah.
She had like a vape pen in Russia.
Yeah.
But that's political.
All political.
Like any other time, I don't think they would have done anything.
Yeah.
They're doing wild shit in Russia, though. You know what sucks? When a country that you're not supposed to like does some shit you agree with. Like, I'm not supposed to like Russia, but they banned GMO foods and they banned industrial farming. You can only farm organically over there.
Look at this. Look at this hanger on. Look at this pathetic loser. Desperate to be in Joe Rogan's orbit. Genetically modified food may or may not be bad. We might be more. It's possible that we might be more prudent to be more worried about microplastics. I don't know, bro. If you're walking around with the transparent fucking glasses, that's it, dude. I'm done. Gotta go fast. See you later, bro. Wow, that is really loud for you. I need to not do that to you again. I'm sorry, you probably jumped out of your chair. I'm sorry. But no, if you're walking around with the goddamn transparent glasses, I'm sorry, dude. I can't. They're a hanger on because they're like, Joe Rogan. He doesn't know. Joe Rogan's wrong. Joe Rogan's wrong in his assertion that Russia is doing the things he's praising them for.
Farming. You can only farm organically over there.
Yeah, so they say. I don't know.
And gender reassignment
shut
surgery
up,
with
CIA
kids.
boy.
Yeah, CIA boy.
Why are you guys calling
They're
me CIA
fucking
boy?
talking about it openly on television, so letting everyone know that this stuff is not good for you.
Yeah.
It's not good to have pesticides and
listen to me right
herbicides.
now.
Your average 10 minutes of Russian television is it's a very trustworthy source, Russian television.
I don't
and
buy a fucking
Monsanto
thing the Russians say, and
spread all
and
over.
you're buying it. You're buying
You're buying the
Putin
Ukraine
propaganda.
Why am I buying it? I'm not buying anything.
You're buying the Ukraine. Listen to that from one of these hangers on in Joe Rogan's orbit.
The Russians say, and
Spread all
and
over.
you're buying it. You're buying Putin
the Ukraine
propaganda.
info?
Why am I
You're buying the Ukraine info? Could you be more specific, lunkhead? Oh, yeah, the pipeline. Oh, the pipeline. You have proof. You got proof America did it. I get, we've game theoried. It's like a 50-50 chance. Russia did it over the U.S. You ain't got proof the U.S. was, there's some training exercise. Yeah, Russia was up to shit too, man. Oh, yeah, well, everything else was fake too. And we shouldn't be spending money in Ukraine. And what the fuck do you know, man? Did you learn that at the goddamn Chuckle Club?
I'm buying it. I'm
You're-
not buying anything.
you're a
what
Putin shill.
I'm saying is they're talking about it on
my
television,
God.
Brian.
You're a Putin
They're
shill.
Brian,
We should
you're
talk
being
about
annoying.
this.
They're talking about it on television. Much better.
That boy
All right.
is tatted
I was
up.
going to say, very,
So this is, I guess, 4 minutes later, 4.5 minutes later.
happy, very happy with that tat.
Those ones on his legs and his lower back, them are them painful ones where they tap you.
All right. It's a
They
podcast. It
did
is what
not
it
fuck
is.
around.
Unless Trump's
Singapore,
on your
same
side.
thing. Singapore.
Joe Rogan, I don't know, man. I don't know if like the money does this to you, but he's going out of his way to find and repeat right-wing talking points and narratives. If there's a right-wing narrative, Joe Rogan is right there to back it up and defend it and gaslight around it. Yeah, I don't. But it's just, look, you want to. If I want to listen to someone talk about MMA, I'll go to Joe Rogan. But I mean, the problem is that there are millions of chuckleheads that, oh, you believe in the Ukraine? Oh, Joe Rogan doesn't like the Ukraine. And that's a real problem. These guys, Joe Rogan is seeding cancer. And look, I'm a free speech guy. I don't think Joe Rogan's show should be shut down. But I do think that calling him out is perfectly adequate, perfectly fair, and needs to be done. And if a private organization like SiriusXM or some other company that is hosting this show makes a decision about his content, that's their prerogative. So I don't have a problem with that either. If a private organization says, I'm done with Joe Rogan, if an advertiser says, I'm done with Joe Rogan, I'm fine with that too. Yeah, Zio Duke, the power of celebrity is depressing. Is absolutely depressing. But if you're saying I'm fixated on Joe Rogan, I don't talk about this guy but once every month or so. And I certainly don't watch his fucking show. But he needs to be called out for his stupidity. I mean, look, if this guy was like me and just, 10 viewer Andy, I wouldn't be tripping. But he's got millions of viewers. They're nodding their head. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm an intellectual too, Joe. Mm-hmm. Nodding their head to this nonsense. Just random people trying to work out the truth. These are not random people. Joe Rogan has influence, political, social. He is part of the zeitgeist and can change it. That's important. When the shit hits the fan and people start talking about voting for real, who's Joe Rogan going to vote for? A fascist. And you don't think that's important? A person with that kind of power and influence supporting a fascist who wants to take over our country? Russia is one of the largest fertilizer producers in the world. Only does organic farming. Sure, Joe. The website says only 0.2% of agricultural land is farmed organically, according to this source from Reddit. They're just speculating global events between fight commentaries. That's all they're doing. They're just having a talk. Except they just so happen to be, Joe Rogan just so happens to be repeating right-wing talking points. It's just a discussion, though. They're just guys talking about the Ukraine. I get it. I mean, look, you don't need to be smart to talk about politics. I get that. But you deserve to be called out if you're wrong. And if you're not humble enough to accept it, sycophants and fans don't need to come to the defense of fucking millionaires. He doesn't need your help, Zio. And he deserves to be called out. You're going to stick your neck out? Say some shit? Show your ass? And I'm supposed to, oh, they're just talking. I'm just supposed to keep it to myself while millions of your viewers nod their head? Absolutely not. I don't know. From this source, Ugaro, literally never heard of this. So according to this source, only 0.2% of agricultural land is farmed organically. Wait. You're telling me Joseph James Rogan, a man who used to get kicked in the head for fun because he wasn't good enough to make a living out of it, doesn't know what he's talking about? All right. We could go down Reddit, but stop listening to Joe Rogan. He's a fucking moron. And yeah, he does have influence. And he just because he's a comedian talking shit, that doesn't relinquish him from the responsibility of spreading misinformation. Yeah, Zio Duke, great point as well. Yeah, I mean, even if it was true what Joe was saying, like that really wouldn't change my mind. I mean, Hitler was famously a vegetarian that loved animals. Godwin's Law.
Oh, baby, it's triple.
That was loud. That was super loud. Sorry. All right, we're done with the right-wing segment. Moving on to our final bit in Ukraine. Thank you, YouTube.